The Last Firehawk, The Secret Maze. Chapter 1 Away Home. Tag, Scarla, Blaze, Claude, and Tyler stood inside the Firehawk's golden temple. The temple was beautiful. It had high ceilings, shiny golden pillars, and fountains that sparkled with rainbow-colored water. There must be a way we can go home, Scarla said, then sighed. Her bushy tail flicked back and forth. The land of Firehawks is amazing. But I want to go back to Perodia. Peg nodded sadly. But how? We lost the golden feathers. And Embaston alone is not strong enough to open a portal. He remembered how they had used the golden feathers and Embaston together to open a portal to the Cloud Kingdom and the land of the Firehawks. We need to find the powerful magical object to open a portal, Blaze said. This land is full of magic, Claude said. There must be one here somewhere, Tag sighed. Gray would know what to do, he said. He wished the leader of Owls of Valor was there with them, or he could find the answer in one of his books. If the books you want, I can help, Tyler said. Follow me. The friends followed Tyler along a hallway until they reached a small door. It was carved out of the stone wall. Tyler ducked down and walked through it. Tag followed, and his feathers brushed out of the door. They entered another hallway. It looked like a tunnel. It was dark, damp, cold, and Tyler's and Blaze's had almost touched the ceiling. Torches hung from the wall. Tyler ruffled his feathers, and they lit up one by one, lightening the way. They watched until the path broke into two directions. One went to the right and one went to the left. Tyler chose the left. What is down the other path? Claude asked as they followed her down the tunnel. That path is closed, Tyler replied. No one can go down there. Why? Claude asked. It is said to hold great danger. Tyler replied. The tunnel widened as they watched until, wow, Blaze guessed. Takes be hung open in surprise. They were in a gigantic room full of shelves stacked with books. It was just like Grace's library, but much bigger. It's wonderful, Scarla said. Tyler nodded. These books contain all of our Firehawk history. It could be a good place to search for clues about magical objects. Then she left the friends alone. They gazed around at the thousands of books and scrolls. He felt a bit dizzy. It could take years to search through all these books, he thought. How does they ever find what they were looking for? Chapter 2 The Library. The four friends spent all day in the library. Take Blaze and Claude searched through the higher shelves. Scarlet looked through scrolls on the floor. We've been here forever, and we've found nothing, Take grumbled. Look at this book, Blaze replied. Read some interesting things about my family, and about the Owls of Valor in Perodia too. Scarlet, Tag, and Claude came over to listen. Since the beginning of the time, the Owls of Valor and the Firehawks have worked together, Blaze read. Tag sighed. His heart felt sad at the thought of the Owls of Valor. It was a dream to become one someday and protect Valorous. If we can't find the magical object, he thought, I might never become an Owl of Valor. The Owls of Valor protected the first Firehawk egg. Blaze continued. Scarlet wrinkled her nose. What was the first Firehawk egg? She asked. I've never heard of it, Tag added. Blaze read on. All Firehawk eggs are magical, but the first Firehawk egg is the most magical of them all. After the first Firehawk hatched, the eggshell didn't turn to ash. Instead, it repaired itself and became filled with the most powerful magic in the world. Well, unlike all magic, this egg could be used for good or for evil. Tag shivered. He knew what terrible things evil magic like a shadow could do. Scarlet gasped and pointed to the bottom of the page. Some say that the first egg could open a permanent portal between lands, she read. He jumped into the air. This is what we've been looking for, he cried. You could use the egg to open a portal and get home, Chloe added. But Blaze shook her head as she read on. The first egg was lost hundreds of years ago. Nobody knows where it is now. Tag put his head in his wings. Blaze patted his shoulder. I'm sorry, she whispered. We'll come back tomorrow and keep reading. I know we'll find a way to open a portal. They walked back to the temple and found the great hall. The tables were piled high with delicious food and drinks. Tag's tummy growled. Feeling hungry? Scarla left. They sat with Tala, and Tag ate until he felt like he might burst. When Tag, Scarla, Blaze, and Chloe had all finished eating, Tala took them to a large beach hut. You can stay here, she said, for as long as you need to. Good night. The hut was full of snuggly blankets and soft cushions. In the center was a bowl of nuts and fruits. You can never have too many nuts, Scarla said. She grabbed a few and tucked them into the armor. The friends curled on the cushions, but they were soft for Tag to sleep on, so he went outside. He gathered some long leaves from a palm tree and made a nest on the beach. As he lay down, he noticed a dark figure sneaking away from their huts. The bright moon suddenly peeked out from behind the cloud. Light shone down onto the figure. Tag guessed. It was Chloe. Chapter 3. The Maze. Tag jumped up and chased after Chloe. Where is he going? Tag wondered. Chloe entered the Golden Temple. Tag quietly followed behind him. Soon, Chloe reached the small door and disappeared down the hallway. Tag waited a moment and followed him. Chloe took a little torch from the wall and used it to light the way. Tag followed behind. He watched as Chloe reached the split in the path, but instead of taking the path on the left, which led to the library, Chloe turned right. Why is Chloe going down the path that Tala says was dangerous? Tag wonders. He was curious what Chloe was up to, but he didn't want to go into the tunnel alone. Tag raced back to the hut. He walked Blaze and Scarla and explained where Chloe had gone. Blaze shook her head slowly. My mom said that no one is allowed down the path. I know, Tag replied, but what if Chloe found out there is a magical object down there? We should search everywhere. Scarla and Blaze exchanged a nervous look. Okay, Blaze finally said. The friends ran back to the tunnel. They quickly reached the entrance to the closed pathway. It was pitch black. I'm not sure this is a good idea, Scarla said. Blaze will keep us safe, Tag said. Blaze didn't look so sure, but she ruffled the feathers to light up the tunnel. Tag took a deep breath, and they headed down the dangerous path. Chapter 4. Lost. Call, Tag called out. There was no reply. Chloe? He called again with shaky voice, but only his echo replies. Chloe. There was a sudden loud scraping noise. What is that? Scarla whispered. Blaze's feathers grew brighter and Scarla squealed. The walls were moving. Tag turned around, but a new wall blocked the way back to the entrance. That wall wasn't there before, Tag cried. This place is a maze, a magical maze, Blaze yelled. The walls moved left and right, and a wall moved right in front of Scarla and blocked up behind it. Tag, Scarla cried. Blaze! Tag pressed the wings against the wall, trying to move it. Scarla was trapped on the other side. Blaze! Tag cried. Use your fireballs! Maybe we could blast a hole in the wall. Tag moved back, waiting for a fireball to fly past him, but nothing happened. There was another loud scraping noise. Suddenly, everything went dark. Blaze, Tag said. He turned around, but another wall had appeared behind Tag, blocking him from Blaze. Tag touched the wall. His heart was thumping. Blaze, he called. I can see a path. Blaze shouted through the wall. I'm going to follow it. Maybe Maybe it'll lead me out of the maze so I can go get help. Okay, Tig replied. He ran to where Scarlet was stretched. Scarlet, he called through the wall. Do you see a path? I think so. Her voice sounded quiet behind the wall. Follow the path, Tig told her. I'll find another way to reach you. There was a loud scraping noise again. The wall beside Tig moved. It revealed a new path. He rested down it. After a while, he stopped for a rest and shouted out to his friends, Blaise, Scarlet, can you hear me? But there was no reply. Why did you make them come down this path with me? Tig thought. I should have listened to Tala. It's too dangerous here. He thought of his friends Coralie, the seal, who had been lost in the crystal caverns. Until Tig, Scarlet, and Blaise had rescued her, Tig felt very alone. He put his head in its wings when suddenly, scratch, scratch, rumble, rumble. He sat up and listened. Something was moving through the maze. Scratch, scratch, rumble, rumble. The sound was getting closer. It was too loud to be Scarlet or Blaise. Scratch, scratch, rumble, rumble. It was heading right for Tig. Chapter 4. The Monster. Tig flew as fast as he could, swooping this way and that. He could hear something moving behind him, getting closer and closer. He turned his head and saw a large creature. It was furry like a caterpillar with yellow and green stripes. It had 4 horns on its head, and its long body was so wide that it took up the whole tunnel. It's going to catch me, Tig thought. Then he remembered his gift from Nutella. Blaise's mother had given Tig and Scarlet each special gifts. Tig's was a bright green liquid that swirled inside a small glass bottle that hung from around his neck. The liquid gave him a magical flying powers, but only for a short amount of time. He quickly opened the bottle, let a drop of magical liquid drip into his beak. Suddenly, his wings began to flap. They flapped faster and faster, so fast he could barely see them. Tig jumped through the maze and grinned back at the giant caterpillar as it chased after him. After a while, Tig's wings started to slow down. Then he heard a new, louder noise. It sounded like thunder. Tig looked back. The caterpillar was still behind him. But now there was something else chasing the caterpillar. It was a gigantic marble. It's going to squish us both, Tig replied in terror. The caterpillar reached Tig. Jump onto my back, Caterpillar shouted. Tig didn't have time to think. He grabbed the caterpillar's fur and they rested on as the marble rumbled behind them. The marble was gaining speed, but then they could see the path ahead of them was ending, and beyond it was nothing but a deep black hole. Stop! They yelled. It closed their eyes and waited for them to fall.